behalf of our chairperson and CEO, Tirso Cruz III, who just assumed leadership in July. And I'm here because I love ISFFM. I mean, we've sort of built our year around, Marian and I built our year around this festival because we love it so much. And it's an experience, it's a magical experience that we'll always come back to. No? Very different from the other cinematic experiences that we've had before. And it's an experience that we would love to continue, okay, on and on. Just like coming home to the cinema, watching films inside the cinema. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it, no experience like it. And I hope it goes on and on, you know, even with streaming and all the other platforms. So we thank you, Shangri-La, for having us again. So it's a homecoming of sorts. No? And we hope that it would continue to be here because everything is so convenient and you're so used to us. Thank you to Franz. Martin. Wake up, Martin. Thank you to Franz for inventing the cinematograph and, of course, for bringing cinema to the Philippines. And as you know, we have one of the oldest film cultures in Asia. And thanks to France, that is true. And thank you to our partners for the spirit of helping one another. And this is, I think, the true spirit of cultural diplomacy. Okay, it's when you help each other to go through things. Okay, and we have had two difficult years, and the audiovisual industry is one of the hardest hit in our country and in the world over. No, so it's a difficult climb, struggling to get back to where we came from and how it was before 2018. But looking at the faces of people here and the efforts of the partners, I think it's going to happen. All right. All right, before I go on, I would like to call down here the filmmakers and the musical scorers who are involved with the 3 short films that the Philippines is going to present this year at the International Silent Film Festival. Can you please join me here, guys? Okay. I'd like to take this opportunity because the filmmakers of the Philippine entry this year are below 30 years old and are alive. And they are here. So it's pretty special. And this only happened because last year, and you know, it's very sad. Come here, guys. It's very sad that the Philippines, unlike all the other partners, have not been able to save a lot of their the cinematic heritage before the 30s. I think our oldest existing film is a 1935 or 1937 film, which is Zamboanga. But earlier than that, we don't have we just have stills. So that's very sad. But it was 1919 when Dalagang Pilipina, Dalagang Bukid, I'm sorry, Dalagang Bukid, was first screened publicly in Manila by the father of Filipino cinema, Jose Nepomuceno. Thank you very much, Senor Jose. And it's been 100 years and 103 years since then, and we're here. We have these young people who are products, basically descendants of that history. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the directors and filmmakers and musical scorers of the films who will talk briefly about their films. Firstly, we have Mr. Van Pascual for Alingas-ngas ng mga Kuliglig, or the Gossips of the Cicade.
So, hello. Our film is about a boy named Agapito. So, Agapito, who despises him. Okay, ulit. English eh. Isa pa. So, our film is about a boy named Agapito, who's forced by his father to become the next albularyo of their town. Agapito despises his boring conventional life not until he falls in love with the tikbalang. So that's our film titled Alingis Ka sa Mga Kuliglig, or in English, The Gossips of Sikadi Day. Yun lang.
Thank you, Van. For those of you who don't know, Tikbalang is an elemental, supernatural being in Filipino folklore. All right. So next up we have, okay, you have your musical scorers with you, Carl Arthur Javier and Nick Rosacay. Hi.
Say something. Yes. Hello. Good afternoon to you all. For us, it was fun but challenging experience working with two composers, two different minds, and over Zoom, yeah. And we just wanted to to fulfill Van's vision of the film. He wanted it to be like really old school silent film feel. So for the arrangement, we decided to just use primarily orchestral music, the piano and such. Yes, and we also wanted to add a little bit of myth to the score as well by using rock, hindi. Like kalimba. Yan, yeah. You have anything to say, Nick?
Just that, well, this is a very interesting film. This is actually our first time scoring like from a silent film, which is you score it from start to finish. There's no like break in between. So this was a very interesting experience. Also because of the story, the main character has felt isolated, is different. So, but this was during a time like the olden days when we had what do you call them, those healers. So, but also it's a very timeless story because of the kind of love that the characters shared together. So we wanted to, parang in a way, I don't know how to say it in English, but to make tawid the concept of love. It's timeless. It doesn't really have an expiration date. Like this is the kind of love you have to have for this sort of period. So we wanted to reflect that in the music, like how I don't know. Yeah, the kind of music that we wanted to make for this film. So there was also a part where we had to do like a rock genre, like it's kind of like deviating from the usual orchestra. So we wanted to make it kind of special. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl and Nick. So old stories, young people. All right, good. Got it. Next up, for Dikit, we have filmmaker Gabby Serrano, who will talk about her film. Awarded filmmaker Gabby Serrano.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Gabby Gabriela Serrano. I'm the director, editor, and co-writer of Dikit. Just to tell you a little bit about our film, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a split-screen film that tells two parallel stories. One side being that of a manananggal, which is a local Philippine mythological creature we have here in the Philippines. She's a woman who can split her body into two, so her torso detaches from her lower half. And then the other side tells the story of a couple who move in next door to her, who she becomes obsessed with. This is an adaptation of Jose Nepomuceno's Ang Manananggal, which is one of the earliest horror films in Philippine cinema, and our tribute to practical effects and silent cinema. And I'm just happy to present this film again with my scorer Paolo, and to be able to watch the film in person with live scoring, just like we did almost a year ago to this day. So it's very nice being able to come back to the Silent Film Festival. We've all had what like an amazing year, all four of us as filmmakers since this festival, and I just wanted to say thank you to FDCP for giving us this opportunity, and also all the international partners who have supported our films. So thank you very much, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks, Gabby. Gabby was figured out in the Cinemalaya Film Festival earlier this year. So the scorer, the musical scorer of Tikit, Paolo Almaden.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Well, a few words about scoring the kid. It was really challenging because it was split screen. So a silent film alone is very difficult, challenging to score. So all the more the split screen. So it was that was the major challenge. I did score several films, of course, but it was really a unique experience. But it was really fun also working with Gabby, with her vision on the film. But at least I think we delivered, and it was a fun experience. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, a film. There was one film that didn't really make it to the ISFFM 2021, but it did make it a few days after. But we're very happy that it's now going to be seen on the silver screen finally for the film Ing Tiyanak. I'd like to introduce the filmmaker E.J. Gagui and Marinel Calma.
Hello, thank you first FDCP for inviting us over. Our film is about two scorned women. They both live in the same barrio. It is a adaptation of also Jose Nepomucenu's Tiyanak. It was really challenging for us to make this film because at first we really had this vision of making it live action sana, but as we all know, yung struggles of being a filmmaker amidst the pandemic last year was really restricted in terms of like the logistics and everything, and we also have like the timeline to beat. So that's the background of why we didn't really make it to the ISFFM last year. But yeah, so we turned it into an animation because we really wanted to put out this film. And yeah, so here we are presenting the film. So going back to the challenging part, aside from the timeline given, it was made during the pandemic. We didn't really have like a reference of Tiyanak by Jose Nepomuceno, as we all know his films are all lost and like burned during the war. So what we did was incorporate our own background, like our where we came from Pampanga. All the stories that we heard from the childhood stories that we heard from our lolas, and about the mythical creatures that we have. So yeah, that's about the animated short. I hope you would enjoy, despite not being able to like grace the screening last year. Yeah.
Sinabi po lahat ni Marcos. Thank you.
Man of few words. All right, sorry. Okay, well, the reason I'd like to explain why they're here is because last year, because we have a dearth of silent films, the Philippines do not have any more. So FDCP, under the former chair, Liza Dino, thought of the idea of Myth Outsound, a silent film competition. So we basically commissioned fresh and up-and-coming and young filmmakers to create new silent films in celebration of the genre of silent films. And just basically to keep the tradition going. So I'm very happy. Let's give a big hand to our filmmakers and musical scorers who took part in the Midtown Sound, and this year we're gonna have them screened at the ISFFM Manila. So, all right. In closing, I'd like to just invite you again to the screening of these three films. Alingas-ngas ng mga kuliglig, or The Gossips of the Sikadi Day, Dikit, and Ing Tiyanak on the 27th of November at 8 o'clock p.m. in Premier Theater 1, Cinema 1. Okay? There's also going to be a talk on film restoration, and this will be also on the 27th at 1 o'clock p.m. And it's about the challenges in the restoration of Philippine films. It's going to be long. We expect to have panelists like Leo Katigbak of Sagip Pelikula, Jeffrey Sonora of FPJ Films, and Don Arawan of the Philippine Film Archive. And this will be done in cooperation with Philippine Film Archive. The film archivists will talk about the challenges and obstacles in restoring Filipino films, from process, financing, to acquisition of licenses. And this will be a panel discussion. So, thank you very much. Thank you, guys, and more power to ISFFM Manila.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sir Dave.